Puppet. Last time on Puppet, we were going to Johto. This time on Puppet, we're gonna be at Johto. Whoa, crazy, isn't it? Here I am. Here's the team, asterisk. Satori is currently missing. That's fine. There we go. Let's take a walk. Let's take a walk. The thing is, I've been busy learning, but I haven't actually put any of that learning into proper practice yet because I'm still like learning in the classes. I should, like, I'm using my free time to do the classes when I could be using the free time to, you know, put the classes into practice. I don't have all the time in the world to do that. I wish I did, but I don't. But that's okay, because we're making progress. And it's nice because the art streams do allow me to... You're good, aren't you? The art streams allow me to implement some like theory and things to keep in mind while I'm doing things. So it's quite helpful in that regard. But I haven't been able to really apply what I'm learning into repetition and practice to improve on it, I suppose. The one I did today... the one I did today was about coloring, and frankly, I tried to understand it, but I didn't fully understand it, so I'll probably have to review it a couple times. You're part fire type, aren't you? I'll probably have to review it a couple times, but that's fine. But I can tell you one thing, seeing a professional color, it's quite astounding, because you see I get to see the whole progress, the whole process from start to finish, and it's just, you know how when you look at a finished illustration, you're like, damn, how do they do that? Well, I literally watched him do that, and then when the image was done, I was like, shit, how did he do that? Even though I just watched him do it, I was still like, how the fuck did he do that? And it wasn't sped up is the thing. It was done in real time, and it's just, frankly, it's just impressive. But there's still too many aspects I didn't fully understand. So I need to understand them if I want to actually apply them properly. But it's good that I have a source to look to for that, so I can properly apply that. But I also have to apply I have a lot of things I want to apply or attempt to apply. But that's all work for the future. Right now, we're not talking about the future. We're not even talking about the past. Wait, can I get down there? No. You cannot get down there. Try again later. Let's just keep walking. You look pretty strong. I hit my hand like on Monday or some shit. I don't even remember, dude. It's been a couple days. It's been a couple days. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal because I didn't see a bruise or anything like that. I didn't see a bruise or anything like that. And then it doesn't make any sense to me that using my wrists causes the bruise on the back of my hand to be like, hey, can you don't? Like, what the fuck is that about? That doesn't even make any sense. Well, whatever. I'll comply. What I really need to do, so I was out doing cardio, and yeah, I skinned my heel because the padding on the heel of my shoe gave way, so now my shoe is effectively useless. So I do have another pair. I just have to find them and open them because I was given another pair, I believe, for Christmas. I know that sounds really bad with my word choices, but you gotta understand something. I live very frugally, okay? If something still works, even if it's in poor condition, as long as it still functions the way it's supposed to, I will not replace it. Alright? In order for me to replace something, it has to, like, fully be unusable. And my shoes, as old as they are, and trust me, they're old. They're old, they are ragged, they are dirty. They are in tatters. They did their job. But now, they don't keep my foot comfortable. That's the most important thing that a shoe should be doing. And if I wear those shoes and I scrape my heel, then I don't want to wear those shoes anymore. But that's the deal breaker. That shoe could be doing anything else. Maybe. Let's put an asterisk on that. That shoe could be doing a lot of different things. I guess. I won't flinch because of Advent. But now that it's actively, like, pulling skin off the back of my foot, which, by the way, I don't know how many of you have ever had that happen before, but you don't have a lot of skin back there. Okay? So, when that shit gets peeled, it hurts. It fucking hurts. It's right where your foot bends. That's where all your foot be bending up and down. That's where that be doing that. Keep that in mind. I'll have to get a band-aid on it later when I go to bed so I don't get too much debris in it. That said, it seems like I do have some debris on it right now, so I'll have to clean myself. God damn it. Fuck me, dude. How do we survive as a species? How did you survive? You green thing. That did 30 damage. That did 30 fucking damage. Okay. I got Thunder Punch. Wait, she's probably Faith type. Frog. Yeah, there we go. Crusher. At the very least, I ran my route. I started at the beginning, I ran, and I got to a point, and then I stopped running, and then I did another loop, and then when I got to the point where I stopped running, I started running. And so I technically completed a loop while running, and it felt pretty good. But I'd like to be able to run the whole loop without needing a break, but that's going to require a lot of stamina. So, well, you know, we'll get there when we get there. But I get a little better every day. And when I get home, I did my weights. I did my weights, my usuals. 4 Snies. Got the whole Sni family. They're all dead. I've killed all of them. You're really strong. You should think about diversifying your lineup. Check it out, the various evolutions of Bonica. Yeah, you know what? That makes sense. Oh, look at that. They hid the ledge, so you have to go through Touhou Falls. Trust is what truly binds. I don't remember what this house gives you in vanilla. Doesn't it give you a sandstorm TM? I don't remember. But yeah, since I'm coming back from the behind here, it wouldn't be a reason for Touhou Falls. But now there is. That's why I made sure Genji learned Waterfall. Oh, man. You know, Chad, I think my least favorite HM to need, I think it's probably Rock Climb. Like, Whirlpool is annoying, yes, because Whirlpool is, like, needed for 2 areas in the entire game. And one of those areas, yes, is required. The other, well, actually, the other is required if you're playing Soul Silver. Anyway. Whirlpool is so niche that you can kind of sacrifice a slot for it. Because you don't, you know, it's whatever. But Rock Climb is annoying because Rock Climb is so sporadic in the map that if you run into an area where you need Rock Climb and you don't have it, you're not really going to think to come back with it. Or if you are, then it's going to be like a shitty item you don't care about. That's what I don't like about Rock Climb, is it's just in places and you're like, well, I don't have a Rock Climber because that move fucking sucks. And you do need it to do story stuff as well, but like I'm saying, it's just everywhere. Like, at least for cut trees, there comes a point where cut trees fuck off. You notice that? You ever notice that? Like, cut is an early game HM, and there's cut trees that block your way. But after a certain point, you never see a cut tree again. It's like by like the 3rd gym. The 3rd or 4th gym or something. The 3rd or 4th gym, cut trees just disappear. Now it's all about strength boulders. And maybe rock smash rocks. Why can't I walk up there? But cut trees are such an early, like, thing. They're such an early thing that you're like, oh my god, it's fucking annoying, there's a tree in the way. But then there does eventually reach a point where those trees just completely kind of disappear from where you need to go. New bark. I'm here. And then it's just replaced with strength boulders and rock smash rocks. Rock climb and strength are... They're pretty sure they're identical in power. Actually, I think rock climb is 85 power, but has 90 accuracy and a 30% chance to confuse. Welcome, my son Bronze went on his little hunts. Bronze. His name is Bronze. Huh? Nothing. Okay. Bronze house. Elm. Professor Elm discovered new Bonica. He didn't discover shit. I'm just talking. Professor Elm... So, Professor Oak's field of study is just Pokemon in general, right? Ron's such a weirdo. He's a good trainer, but runs off a lot. He's just trying to find the rarest Bonica. I think he likes getting out a lot. Elm studies like Pokemon eggs, I believe. Or, I don't know what Elm's field of expertise is, but I know that Pokemon eggs seem to be something that, like, he's known for. Thief broke into this lab. Okay. Birch, he doesn't have a... Well, he specializes in field research. Right? He specializes in field work, so he's constantly out. Alright, here we are. We're in Johto. Rowan's field of expertise is evolution. I don't remember what Juniper's is. Or frankly, anybody's past that point. It's evolution, but Gen 4 Professor stole that. I think they retconned it to eggs. Was it? Well, I mean, I guess Heart Gold and Soul Silver also killed Crystal. They killed her and replaced her with Lyra. What happened to her? She exists. Not really. That said, Gold is a different character from Ethan, even though their designs are effectively the same. But, like, there's Gold and Crystal. Society of Cosplayers. School swimsuit. Okay. Your bag is full. What do you mean my bag is full? I already have one. Just fucking give me it and let it stack up. Are you kidding me? Lassie. Yeah, so there's 18 of these trainers and they give you the boosting item for the stat. Wait, a school swimsuit is different from the regular swimsuit, isn't it? No, it isn't! It's not different, but she didn't give it to me. Stupid. Dummy. Just a meta. Yeah, Ethan and Gold are different characters. But Chris and Lyra are very, very different characters. You can tell that just by the look. But also, Chris didn't exist until Crystal. Hence the name. Because I believe, because I didn't really have Gold or Silver, but I believe Gold and Silver, you didn't have that option. And then Crystal was the first time they gave you the option of dual protagonists. Strong new Bonica. It's interesting how we're in, like, the first route of Johto. And, like, the Pokemon that you find... Oh, shit! Look who it is. Did you really just hit yourself 3 fucking times, you fucking idiot? Okay. Lives in the dream world with her twin. Nobody in the game had this character. I fought one Gengetsu, but like... Man, nobody had these ones. Pokemon Masters doesn't count. Pokemon Masters is just, we'll put any fucking character in the entire world in there. I can't run. There we go. Tenchi. Sakuya. That's how you know Mugetsu and Gengetsu are a big deal. Okay, whatever. I'm done here. Pokemon Masters is just about moving product. That's why every character is gonna show up there. Trainers, gym leaders, you name it, they're gonna show up. Different costumes, seasonal outfits. Master dude, what the fuck? Hi. Bye. She didn't go very far, did she? Path up north is rest, so I'm taking a break. What? You can talk? Okay. Whatever you say. The PC, any trainer can use that freely. So yeah, you can't, there's no Johto map. It's down here. You can teleport to any Johto town you visited. So here's the map of Johto laid out in a panel situation. You can go anywhere you want. Yes. So this is how they got around the, that takes you back to Meridian. Why? I don't know. This is how you navigate the map, because if you use fly in Johto, you don't load into a proper fly screen. There's no page on the map for it. So this is their answer, is they made a teleport map on the bottom of the Pokemon centers. And there's one in Viridian, and that's how you can get back to Johto. Cool, right? I think Jupe is a better trainer. She's awesome. Have you ever heard of Red? He's an amazing trainer. Yeah, but like, that Jupe? She's pretty good too. When I was a wee lad, I was a hotshot trainer. Catch lots of Monica and treat them all with kindness. How kind is it to leave them in the box? Traveling with your Monica must be fun. Why did her text box get stuck on the bottom of the screen? Aren't you Jupe, the champion of Kanto? You should take on the Monica gyms around Johto. They're all really strong. I like how they recognize me. Team Rocket didn't recognize me. I was the fucking champion of Kanto, and these random people in Cherry Grove are like, wait, I know you. Please step aside, man. We're currently searching the beat for a thief with a long red hair. Is this guy for real? You're searching the beach for a suspicious individual. Where's my running shoes? They're fresh out of Easy Orbs. Welcome, how may I help you? Okay, first of all, why am I buying from an Itori? Why is it playing surfing music? What? What the fuck? Okay, whatever. Johto's got that coexistence shit figured out. Trainers ahead are real tough. My Bonica fainted out cold. We're on Route 1 and the trainer's got like level 45 puppets. Like, I mean, from a progression standpoint, sure. But have you ever thought about that? Like, what about... Oh. You're the champion at Kanto. What a joke. Don't you get what I'm saying? Think about, like, the people who grow up in the endgame towns, right? You ever think of that? Rival Silver. Like, you have, like, oh, like, let's say, you know, I'm starting in fucking, like, Pallet Town, right? And everybody's level 5 and shit. And then I get to Fuchsia, which is the furthest point of the country. Now, there are better examples than Kanto because of the way of Kanto's map works. But, like, Fuchsia is basically the highest level town. Or Cinnabar, I suppose. But that's close to Pallet anyway. But you think the people who live in these areas, if they're starting their Pokemon journeys... Black and White 2, the old protagonist starting town is kind of stacked. That's exactly it. You missed a sleeping opponent twice. Good job. So like in Black and White, your starting town is like babies, and then when you go there in Black and White 2, you're just a bunch of ace traders. I like that they at least bothered to change. I like that they at least bothered to change like the trainer archetype there. So instead of it just being a bunch of like youngsters and lasses and whatever, there's actual ace traders, and they have like really high level Pokemon. But like imagine you're in that town, right? Imagine you're in that town, you're starting your Pokemon journey. You go outside, there's an ace trainer, he's got a level 59 Watchog, and you have a level 5 Tepig. And it's like, this isn't fair. How did this happen? I get it from the perspective of it, just like progression, it makes sense, but it is interesting to think about characters who start in later like locations, how different their startings really are, right? Do they have they're starting where my character is considered like their ending, but I'm the main character, right? I'm the main character, so only my experience actually matters. This is such a fucking bad fight. Okay. Alright. Okay. Then it made sense as one route that everyone follows. Yeah, but some people don't like that. Some people really don't like when something is too linear. But actually, that actually lets me segue into something I was thinking about last night. So, you guys ever think about like events in games that prevent you from progressing, and what it is actually that prevents progression, and whether or not it's you just not having something, or if it's a key idea or an event that has to happen caused by an event of something else? Let me explain. Let me explain what I mean when I say that. So, I was thinking of this because of Majora's Mask. So, in most Zelda games that I can think of, you know, you need to get the item. You need to get the dungeon item, because the dungeon item lets you beat the boss, and the dungeon item also is usually needed to progress further into the game. However, there's nothing really stopping you from getting the dungeon item and then leaving the dungeon, right? You don't have to beat the boss, necessarily, to continue progression. Toyohime is weak to Giga Drain. But that's not really true, right? Now let's look at Wind Waker, for example. In Wind Waker, like, when you go to Dragon Roost, the King of Red Lions is like, we're here for the pearl. And and he won't let you leave. Like, he routes you and he won't let you leave, because if he was just like, yeah, you want to go somewhere, let's go somewhere, you could just go to Forest Haven. What's stopping you from going to Forest Haven, right? But no, the game streamlines events in a way so you have to play the first dungeon, then he tells you should go to Forest Haven, and then you can do other things at that point. But there's a limit. There's a limit to what you're allowed to do, your range of activity, and then you have to go like that. So it's interesting. Some events just don't happen, right? And the reason why I bring this up is because I was thinking about I was thinking about it from the perspective of Majora's Mask. So, because of the nature of Majora's Mask, you happy you won. The fucking first Pokemon took forever. You want to know who I am? I'm Silver. I'm going to be the world's greatest Bonica trainer. That's great. I'm going to go tell the cop that we saw you up there, and he'll let me on the beach. Never mind. He won't listen to me. So, because of the way Majora's Mask works, you're supposed to kind of have your free range of the map, because you need to be able to go at wherever you want at any point, because that's kind of the way. It's not a linear game in that sense. But it is, but it's not, right? So, let me explain. So, when your first area you're allowed to go is the swamp, and the reason for that is because you do not have the means to access further areas in. So when you go to Woodfall, you go to the swamp, you get the bow and arrow. And they actually do this in the speedrun as well, like the 100% speedrun. Glitchless, I don't know about glitched actually. But they'll go to Woodfall early, and they'll get the bow and arrow, along with some other things, and then they leave the dungeon. So they don't actually fight Oldwalla, they don't purify the swamp, but they have the bow and arrow. And if you don't know, the bow and arrow is the only thing required to go up to Snowfall. To mount Snow, like Snow, what the fuck it's called. So once you get the item, you can just leave. Because you don't get anything by I mean, obviously you get the mask. You get the mask, which gets you Oath to Order, and also you need the mask to free the giant, because that's kind of that's the trigger for that. But I'm saying that you don't actually have to purify the swamp. You can just get the bow and arrow, and you can go to Snow Peak, right? And that's cool. And then you can effectively continue playing the game as if you've beaten it, and you just have to go back there later. Now, the thing is that some Pokemon games do something like that, where some gym leaders are accidentally optional to the degree that you don't have to fight them because the HM they allow you to use is not strictly required, and there's nobody in the way. Brawly and Winona are examples of that. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they changed that so Brawly is required to get hikers out of the way so you can progress in Granite Cave. But in the original games, you didn't have to fight Brawly. Brawly was just a fight in order to get access to Flash. Winona is a fight to get access to Fly. If I remember correctly, you only need those badges. You only need those badges to pass the Elite Four checkpoint too. DK64 does something similar, where there's 8 keys in the game, but the game only actually checks 2 of them because they're keys that don't actually do anything themselves. Key 3 and Key 8 are the only keys required to activate the trigger to make the final boss spawn, because all the other keys activate levels. So I guess it just assumes that if you need to get those to open the levels. But Key 3 itself doesn't do anything, and Key 8 itself doesn't do anything. So those are the only 2 keys you actually need. And that's just, I don't know why they do that, but they do that. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Point is, Christmas Mystia. Point is, in Majora's Mask, you can skip over doing the entirety of the swamp. But what's interesting is that you can't do that. You can't do that again. So what I mean by that is, in order to get to Great Bay legitimately, and that's the important distinction we need to make here. In order to legitimately get to Great Bay, you need Epona. In order to get Epona, you need to go to Romani Ranch on day 1. In order to get to Romani Ranch on day 1, you need a powder keg from the Big Goron. To get the powder keg from the Big Goron, you need a powder keg license, which you get by bringing a powder keg to the Goron racetrack, which is something you can only do after you have cleared Snowhead. When you bring Spring to the mountains, then you can get the license. And that starts that whole chain of events that gets you Epona. And the thing is, you also need Epona to go to Ikana, but not because you need Epona herself, but because there is literally a guy who will not let you go up to the canyon unless you have the mask that lets you perceive dead spirits. The Garo Mask. How do you get the Garo Mask? You have to beat the Gorman Brothers in a race. How do you race the Gorman Brothers? You have Epona. So you need Epona like that. And then he gives you a tree, which you need the hook shot for, which is the Great Bay item. But also, the game wants you to have ice arrows, because there's Octoroks that that want you to freeze. Surprise, I am a member of Society of Cosplay, the Witch. Alright, I already have one, but you're not going to give it to me. Yep. Okay. So, it's interesting to me because the way Wind Waker is... Not Wind Waker. The way it is structured is that it is making you get things that aren't necessarily super applied to the dungeons, but they are, aside from the one instance here in Woodfall, it is kind of making you do that. Now, again, you could do the same thing in Great Bay that you did in Swamp, where you don't finish the location and then you can go to Ikana. And Ikana's purification doesn't do anything. The only thing it does is it prevents you from playing the Poe minigame. Kind of weird, isn't it? So in that sense, like, I think it's interesting because when you look at Majora's Mask like that, so you don't have to do the swamp in its entirety, and you don't have to do Great Bay in its entirety, but you do have to get pretty much everything item-wise from them before you can, like, resume. However, you do need to beat Snow Peak. Snow Peak absolutely must be beaten because you need Epona. Without Epona, you cannot gain access to Great Bay or Stone Tower. So that's the only dungeon that has to be beaten in the sense that in order for you to progress further into the game, you have to beat the boss. Then you have Twilight Princess, where everything is a goddamn trigger you have to activate by doing something. Oh yeah, no, I know the ice arrows are easy to skip. That's why I'm saying, like, that's the only thing in the game that I can think of outside of Great Bay Temple itself, where the game's like, hey, use them. Come on, you got them. Come on, use them. Dude. Come on, use them. They're cool, they freeze things. They freeze water. Yeah, I got sick of that in the fucking temple. Dude, come on. It's a dungeon item. It's cool, use them. I'm not a trainer. Okay. Oh shit, a trainer. Isn't there also an opponent gate in the way to Akana Canyon? I don't remember there being a gate in the way of Akana Canyon, but I do remember a gate being in the way of Great Bay. But regardless, my point is that you're not allowed to enter. You're not allowed to enter because the weird shadow guy just straight up tells you, hey, you need a mask, fucker. So, like, go get it. And then even if you get it, he's like, all right, cool. And then he gives you a tree that you can hookshot, and then you can climb even further. Like, you can go to the cemetery. You can get the stone mask. You can get the stone mask, and you can go to the cemetery, but you can't actually go further into Iconic Canyon without all the necessary items. It's cool because ice arrows and OOT can't freeze things. That's because nobody uses the ice arrows in OOT because they're part of the Gerudo Trading Ground, and anybody who isn't a speedrunner looks at the Gerudo Training Ground and thinks, wow, what a gigantic waste of fucking time, and then doesn't do it. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. Throw a water ball at him. Pew. But anyway, I was just thinking that, like, I thought it was fascinating because the way Majora's Mask was structured, it made me kind of think of, like, I don't think much about it because in Zelda games, for example, when I'm in the middle of a dungeon and I get the item for the dungeon, like, the item is what is required to progress further into the game, but beating the boss isn't necessarily required. The boss just gives you a heart container or a grand collectible, but in actuality, the boss activates, you know, it triggers a flag saying, like, hey, shit's beat, bro. I don't even know if there's anything worth in here. Shit's beat, now you can move on. Twilight Princess is very heavy on that, for sure. But it's just Majora's Mask is kind of the only one I can think of where you can just... Was that... I hear someone's voice. I wonder what they're doing in there. I'll get Flash and I'll go explore. You can just fuck off. You can just go. I don't know about OOT. In OOT, because the thing is, in OOT, as from what I can recall, you could go to the Forest Temple. Again, this is assuming you're not fucking, like, wrong warping and doing some crazy glitches and shit, right? But as far as I can think, like, Forest Temple, Fire Temple, and Water Temple, they're all pretty much accessible as soon as you get the hookshot, right? Like, you need the hookshot to get into the Forest Temple. You don't need the bow and arrow to get into the Fire Temple. And you don't need the bow and arrow to get into the ice cave, which by proxy gets you into the water. Well, actually, you do need the bow and arrow. You do need the bow and arrow for the, or is it just the hook shot? Can you hit the opening in the gate for the water temple with the hook shot, or do you need the bow and arrow for that? Can you use the bow and arrow underwater? I don't remember. Anyway. You can't, like, I don't remember exactly how that order of events goes, but I do know that once you beat the water temple, it activates the state of Kakariko being on fire, and that's how you get the Nocturne of Shadow. And the Nocturne of Shadow warps you to the cemetery from a higher position so you can actually enter the dungeon. So you do need to make a certain amount of progress prior to the Shadow Temple for that proc to even happen. But as far as other dungeons go, I'm not sure if you actually have to go and beat them in the order they're presented, or if you can just kind of fuck off after you get the item and go do whatever you want. Can't go back to being a kid until you beat a temple, so no Spirit Temple first. I don't remember how the Spirit Temple works, actually. Hookshot is how you unlock the gate. See, that's what I thought. Because I don't remember being able to use the bow and arrow underwater. And also the water temple's where you get the long shot. So, obviously there would be a lot of procs for hookshot / long shot in that dungeon. I haven't played OOT in a long time. And honestly, every time I watch OOT, it's somebody doing some... ZFG. Doing some crazy glitch shit that doesn't even make sense to me. So I don't think I've seen somebody legitimately play through like OOT in years. Very long time. Hard orb. I'm gonna go explore that cave. On a good one, Egan Dark Cave, I'm gonna raise take on Faulkner. He's the leader of Violet City's gym. We're here. We made it. Team Rocket's up to no good. Why do you keep saying Skyward Sword? What are you talking about? Why do you keep saying that? You know, when I was a kid, I thought if you didn't get Din's Fire, as a child, you couldn't beat the Forest Temple. You know that room where you have to fire an arrow through a torch to light another torch? I think it's the Greenpo room. I thought the only way to light torches was by using Din's Fire. I didn't know you could shoot arrow through fire and have it catch fire. I didn't know that. Why didn't you know that? You may be asking yourself. And the answer is, I don't know either. I don't fucking know. Alright, hold on. We're gonna do this. Now, I've said this one before. In a state of absolute cluelessness. Alright, absolute cluelessness. The first time I played Twilight Princess. Right? The first time I played Twilight Princess. I wasn't sure how to advance through Snow Peak. So I went to the fortune teller. Holy crust. I went to the fortune teller in Castletown, paid 10 rupees. And she told me that I would be able to progress if I had something like a fur coat. And my brain was like, ah, that must be the third tunic, the fur coat. If I get that, I will be able to walk through Snowhead. No, you dumb fucking bastard. You turn into a wolf, and now you have a fur coat. And that just did not occur to me. It did not occur to me. Have you ever leaped your logic so bad that you just, like, you're a fucking genius, you fucking idiot? Oh, shit. They got Big Goo in here. Why is there a random Rock Smash rock here? What? Why? Pissing me off with shit like that. From the Society of Cosplayers, I rise. Oh. Oh, so you gave me that one. Okay. Let's go further in. Into the dark hole. Johto region. Oh, that's the Blackthorn connection. Okay. Another... This cave's full of goo. I didn't even find real goo. I think real goo was at the power plant, and I didn't go to the power plant. Alright, whatever. Johto has, actually has quite a few cave systems that are irrelevant for passage. To the degree that I wonder why they even exist, and what's in them. When you get in trades, it grows quickly, but you don't have the right gym badge, they may disobey you. kudos for the vanilla texts in post-game. I mean, I ain't about to rewrite the entire fucking cast of Johto. Fuck that. I'll put the tutorial text in the tutorial towns. You evolved him, so you'll be soaring towards success, see? Better idea than the money-sucking tunic. Well, the money-sucking tunic, it prevents you from being hit. You know what I found out a while back? That if you get hit by the cannonball in Snow Peak Ruins, you die. Instantly. It is an auto kill. But if you get hit while you have the magic armor on, you live, but it literally drains your entire wallet. You lose all of your money in your wallet. Well, that was pointless. Sprout Tower. When Boschit over 100 feet tall, people say it's become the center pillar here. Oh shit. Onbashira Tower was built long after this place for Boniko training. Alright, we battle, the tower will stand strong. Now, Zelda has had numerous stupid items. Of course, we know it has. Nice crit. But you know, the stupidest item. No, actually, I don't. In my opinion, the stupidest item in Zelda history, probably the Dominion Rod. I hate that thing. Now, the spinner is undoubtedly stupid. I will not deny. The spinner is really stupid. But, like, the spinner's kind of funny. But the Dominion Rod? What a waste of time. The Dominion Rod is a glorified key item. Alright? It is not an item you use. It is a glorified key item. I have a question. Aside from the owl statues around Hyrule Field, alright, I'm also counting the ones in the secret room in Hyrule Castle. Aside from those things, the Temple of Time itself, and, I'm forgetting one. No, I think that's about it. Oh no, and Cave of Ordeals. Aside from those three places, is there anywhere in the game to use the Dominion Rod? Like, legitimately. You needed to go further into the Cave of Ordeals, you needed to beat the Temple of Time, and you needed to get the Skybook filled out. But aside from that, what can you use it for? At least there are spinner lines around Hyrule Field that you can use. At least that it's required in the temple, the city in the sky for like 2 fucking places for some goddamn reason. Wrong with the magic armor. Nothing wrong with the magic armor. You know the reward for maxing your Poe souls is you can just go there and get like 200 rupees. Like you have infinite rubies. Infinite rubies. So anytime you need to charge your crystal, you just go to Giovanni's house, and then he'll just fill your wallet up for free. So you can always just kind of make that shit full and put it on when you need a little bit of extra defense. That's all. Now the magic armor in Wind Waker, I don't even remember what that fucking does. Like, actually, I don't remember what the magic armor does in Wind Waker. I remember getting it. I don't remember ever using it. Check the wiki, there isn't. See what I mean? Glorified key item. Glorified key item. The Dominion Rod, and the thing is, even if you disregard the need to use that item in other locations, there's the fact that you can't use that item in combat. You can't. You can hit things with the spinner. I know how that sounds, but you can. You can use the spinner attack and you can hit things. You can't hit things with the Dominion Rod. You can hit things with the things that the Dominion Rod possesses, assuming they are combat efficient. Guess how many things in the game you can use the Dominion Rod that are combat efficient? Well, go ahead, take a fucking wild guess. The magic armor in OG Wind Waker drains your magic bar while it's active, but drains your rupees when you get hit in HD. So that makes more sense. That makes more sense. I don't remember much of the differences in HD versus the regular. I don't remember even playing Twilight Princess HD, to be honest with you. I know there's a stamp collection in that game. Also that the reward, actually, chat, where do you get the bottle in Twilight Princess HD? Because in the original game, when you get 20 Post Souls, you get a bottle of Great Fairy Tears from Giovanni. But in the HD, you get the Ghost Lantern, which is effectively, it's just an item that tells you when a Poe is in the location. It helps for Poe hunting, because there was nothing like that in the base game. And it's really weird that there's nothing like that in the base game, because Twilight Princess is like the only Zelda game where, it's the only 3D Zelda game where you can't manipulate the time of day. Now, I'm pretty sure Breath of the Wild is different, but the main important thing is that there's actual things that happen at nighttime. Like, a majority of the Poes only come out at night, but there is no way in the game to influence the time of day outside of scripted events changing time. So you just kind of have to wait for the sun to set, and then you can walk around and see if you'll find a Poe. It's even weirder when there's a night-only location Poe in a location where you can't even see the fucking sun. Like, it's Snow Peak. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, Poe hunting in Twilight Princess is kind of awful, actually. But where do they move the bottle that Giovanni gives you? I don't know where they would put that. I would assume it's you get the bottle and the lantern. Oh, okay. So he just okay. Because in Wind Waker HD, they changed it so that the Hold of Savage, or the Savage Labyrinth, in the original game, the Savage Labyrinth halfway point gives you a Triforce chart, and at the very bottom you get a single piece of heart, which is just that's a really skewed reward for something like that. But in HD, they made it so the Hero's Charm was at the bottom. And in the original game, the Hero's Charm was gotten by giving the teacher 40 Joy Pendants. Now, I don't know what the teacher gives you for 40 Joy Pendants anymore. Because from what I saw, the heart piece that was originally there was moved to a treasure chart location. So I'm actually not sure what her reward is, because her original reward got changed and it wasn't swapped because the piece of heart got moved to a treasure chart, which, by the way, I fucking hate treasure charts. I hate treasure charts. I have such a negative opinion of treasure charts, and the reason for that is quite simple. It's because it is when the objective is A to B, a treasure chart makes it so you go A, B, and C. It turns B from the conclusion to a mid-step. Now, in theory, they're fine. In exchange for 40 more Joy Pendants, she gives Lynx the Hero's Charm in Wind Waker and Treasure Chart 45 in Wind Waker HD. Do me a favor. Can you tell me what the reward for Treasure Chart 45 is? Can you tell me what that treasure chart gives you when you go out of your way to find it? A silver rupee. So instead of just giving you a silver rupee, she sends you on a fetch quest for a silver rupee. You see what I mean? Now, it's one thing if you just find the treasure chart, whatever. Right? It's just whatever, you find it in the open and you put the effort in. You have given her 45 40 fucking Joy Pendants, and the reward she gives you is a piece of paper that tells you where you can go to get a reward. Does that not extremely frustrating? Is that not frustrating? Why doesn't she just give you the money? Because they really want you to fly around the fucking ocean and just look for the big sparklies and then pull them up. You know the original Japanese version treasure chart for one of the Triforce pieces? You mean the Triforce charts? Or are you saying that there was a Triforce chart located behind a treasure chart? Are you saying that a Triforce chart was a treasure chart reward? Man, they were not cooking with that one. Yeah, but it was a chain of 5 treasure charts. Are you serious? You had to pull up 5 fucking treasure charts to find a Triforce chart. How would you know which treasure chart was the one that led you on the chase? What if you never got it? They had 8 of those things, and they told Tingle that you need to pay him about 398 rupees to decipher them. In HD, they made it so like half of them just give you the piece, and it's usually the ones you have to work for. So no, I hate treasure charts. I don't think treasure charts add anything to the game. Now, aesthetic-wise, they do. They add to the game in that way. But gameplay-wise, they are a tedious activity that, quite frankly, can be solved by just changing the reward of the treasure chart to what the treasure chart's reward is naturally. Again, it wouldn't be as much of an issue, I don't think, if the treasure charts themselves were, like, common. Converting a common treasure chart into a pretty good reward for putting the work into finding it, that seems fine to me. Alright? That seems fine to me. But the issue is that when the reward of a long stretch of quest is a fucking treasure chart, you're just gonna do more work. I already did the work, dude. That's actually one of the things I don't like about Majora's Mask. I know, it's sacrilegious to complain about a game that everybody loves. But Majora's Mask has some of the absolute worst lengthy side quests in the entire fucking series. And these side quests only ever amount to a single piece of heart. I hate that, man. Now, sometimes there's additional stuff along the road, but for the most part, shit just sucks. Now here's the thing. Okay, beavers are a great example of that. You have to do the beaver race 4 fucking times to get the rewards. You do it the first time, and then the older brother's like, hey, do it again. You do it again, you get a bottle. And then you go again, and then you do the same thing again, but this time you get a piece of heart. 4 fucking times you gotta do that for that. Now, I personally, that won't kill me. Personally, I really, really dislike the frogs. That's the part that I dislike the most, is the frogs. Because the frogs are just, collect 5 frogs with the hat on, and then you get a single piece of heart. But there's nothing in between it. There's nothing in between it. That's the problem. Like, the cafe quest spans the entire 3-day cycle. Yes. The cafe quest leads to the couple's mask, which leads to a single piece of heart. Yes. However, the couple's mask is integral to the fierce deity mask, but also through the process of the cafe quest, There's also the things you get. You get the Keaton mask. You also get the bottle of Chateau Romani, and you also get the postman's hat. So there are multiple rewards. There are multiple rewards that pop up through the course of this long quest. There's also the story behind the quest as well. If you're interested in the world of, you know, of Termina, there's the story aspect which you can't ignore. There's no story to the fucking frog choir. You just find a fucking frog and you wear a mask and he goes, "Ah, dungeons ever ghetto, yes, spring is coming to winter, yes, I'll go sing now, yes." And then you do that 5 times, and then you listen to them sing for about 15 seconds, get a piece of heart, and never fucking bother with them ever again. You get the cafe mask to start it. That doesn't really count, but I get what you mean. Point is, there's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of pieces to that quest that ultimately amount to, like, more than just the end reward of the long quest, right? But there are some quests, like the aforementioned frog, where the entire quest from beginning to end is just a single piece of heart. And I don't like that. I don't like that. That bothers me because it feels like I'm putting in a lot of work for a shitty reward. You know how else you can get a piece of heart? You can go play the Song of Healing to some freak standing on a rock at midnight, and then you can go dance in front of 2 ladies, and that gets you a piece of heart. Is that difficult? Is that time consuming? No. No, it's not. Barely takes any time at all. Kosei, you are indeed skilled. As promised, here's your HM. This guy's got like level 60s. He's already established. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Onbashira Tower. Good old Bellsprout. That one is at least memorable. What one? I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh, right. The dancing guy. He's like one of 5 places in the game you have to play the Song of Healing. Dude, the Song of Healing's kind of fucked up, isn't it? Have you ever really thought about that? Like, what the Song of Healing is doing? It's presented as a positive thing, but the Song of Healing is effectively pacifying spirits and turning their essence into masks. And you do that 5 times. You do that 5 times in the game. And this song was taught to you by a guy who peddles masks. Like, isn't that interesting? Honestly, I could believe if the Song of Healing was used to turn Majora into a mask. That honestly checks out based on the power of the song and also how the creature was sealed. He was sealed as a mask by the Song of Healing. Like that makes that makes sense to me. He's got a Mario mask, yeah. Where do you get that? But no, really, like he plays the song for you, and the Deku, it gets the Deku off of you. But you play the Song of Healing to the Goron and to the Zora, and they have, you know, they have a moment, and they find peace, and they leave behind their essence, right? But you also do that for Kamaro, and you also do it for the Gibdo. Now the Gibdo is a little interesting because in the Gibdo's case, it's more like a possession. So it actually is living up to its namesake, right? It's healing him, but it's taking what effectively turned him into a Gibdo and converting it into a mask that gives not really power, mind you. There's no spirit behind it. That's the main difference, I suppose. There's no spirit behind that or the Kamaro's mask, but those, I guess, are a little different. You're right if you have it. In that case, take this instead. Soybeans! He gave me silver soybeans. Mysterious silver-colored soybeans, but for what? I don't know. Majora's Mask tends to get peddled around as lay dark Zelda game, but it is pretty inignorable, just the power of the Song of Healing, and it's presented in the game in a way that makes us think like this is good because we're the hero and we're using it to quell restless spirits and help them find peace, right? Wait. Don't you also play the song? No, you don't play the Song of Healing for the guy in Icona. Isn't that weird? You play the Song of Storms for him. Right? Yeah. So, the rampaging ghost in Icona, you play the Song of Storms for him, not the Song of Healing. Because you have to go to the graveyard to get it first, and then you can do that. And that starts up the water again. He inherited his father's gym and he did a great job with it. Yeah. Call my Tokiko Taco. Doesn't seem very happy about that. The names of her favorite things to eat for the nickname she gives her Bonica. Okay. He has dialogue for it. Oh. So, yeah, essentially, this movie just seems to be on guard. Okay, bye. It's neat because, again, from a hero's perspective, we're doing something we're doing something good. But considering the person who taught us this song and the dubiousness, I suppose, of their origin, like there's questions. There's questions that you could have in regards to that, right? Is that house accessible? Yeah, it is. Okay. Get out of here, you cowardly ruffian. It's because you got me from behind doesn't mean I can't get you back for it. Okay. I guess I'm just going to the gym. Roadblocks. So we're coming up on flying types. A little troublesome. I have Thunder Punch, but I should probably bring out Satori. Satori's level is obviously low, but her job as a punching bag. Her job as a punching bag is pretty good. So even if she's level 56, it does not matter. She'll be able to fill her role nicely. I think Zelda lore is fascinating, and the reason for that is usually because Zelda lore gives just enough information, but also not enough information. You don't need my help. Good luck in there. I like when there's bits and pieces of information scattered in a way that it makes you have to put things together yourself, or nothing is directly inferred, but if you kind of read between the lines and theorize a little bit, you can see things from a different perspective that makes you go, huh, Yeah, the mangas have their own reputations for sure, but I am aware of the fierce deity line for I'm aware of the fierce deity line from at the end. He says, "Be gone, trickster," and he like fucking mind crushes the Happy Mask Salesman. But in the game, when you get the fierce deity mask and you play with the kid who's got the Majora's Mask on, and he says that you will play the bad guy. He explicitly says you'll play the bad guy and gives you the fierce deity mask. The fierce deity is something that there's no lore explanation on this thing. You just turn into like a 9-foot tall super Link. But it's also a mask that it's a mask that changes Link's form though. Right? It's like the other transformation masks, like the Deku mask, the Gora mask, and the Zora mask. And as we know with the 3 transformation masks, they were created by this the Song of Healing being used on a spirit and purifying the spirit. So that means the fierce deity, to be able to have that same transformative capabilities, means that the fierce deity himself was, at the very least, a spirit. It was a living thing. It was a person, or at least it was alive, right? It was alive. And it seems like Majora knew who it was. Like, Majora had a bad reputation. I mean, in the game, doesn't the Happy Mask Salesman say that... Doesn't the Happy Mask Salesman say that the Majora's Mask was used in hexing rituals? Right? So, the mask itself was cursed, but Majora itself... Majora wasn't necessarily the mask, right? Because the thing is, the game's called Majora's Mask, and the bosses, none of them are called Majora, right? The first boss in Majora's Mask is Majora's Mask. The second boss is the incarnation of Majora, and the third boss is Majora's Wrath, right? These aren't all explicitly saying that Majora is the mask, but these are things that represent who Majora was. So Majora was probably a person as well. And that was their mask. And their mask, you know, because the mask was used in so many rituals that it took on a dark power itself. Or Majora himself was sealed within his own mask. Maybe that would make some sense, right? Because remember at the end of the game when you defeat Majora, the Happy Mask Salesman goes back to the mask, and he says the evil power has finally left the mask, which meant that the mask was cursed, but the mask itself was still just a mask, which means that, like the Deku mask, the Zora mask, and the Goron mask, there's a spirit within the mask that is enabling it, and we know that the mask pretty much takes over Skull Kid, but the difference is that the Majora's Mask doesn't change Skull Kid's form. It doesn't turn him into Majora. It's still the Skull Kid with the mask. That's like the only real difference that's really notable about them, is that Skull Kid's appearance doesn't change when he wears Majora's Mask. You gotta wonder about that. I do wonder about that. I think about things, you know. I think about things all the time. You're not confused, are you? Are you confused? Did I say something confusing? Are you listening to me? Are you understanding what I'm saying? I'm not being confusing. This is perfectly reasonable subject of conversation, is it not? The Moonchild being small happy mask salesman. See, I think that leads to the idea that, like, he is a descendant of the race that was responsible in some capacity for Majora. Whether or not he was directly related to the clan that Majora was from, who knows? But he definitely knows more than he's letting on. That much is for certain. And okay, he knows more than he's letting on. He had the mask in the first place. There's all questions. I'm Faulkner. Yeah. You sure are. In-universe reasons the mask transforms the user and which don't. Well, don't the text descriptions for the transformation masks say that the masks house the spirits of those inside? Not necessarily a Deku mask, but doesn't it straight up say when you get the mask that, like, the Zora mask has, like, it houses the spirit of the Zora guitarist Mikal? Don't they actually, like, straight up say that in the description? That the masks contain the spirits of those that were, like, purified? The Giant's mask is a transformation mask, but it just makes you grow huge. It's different, right? Alright, you're poisoned. You have leftovers. I don't know what you used, but I would like you to full restore, because that would... Okay, bye. Kamaro. Well, Kamaro is interesting because Kamaro is a mask that isn't really... His spirit isn't in the mask, right? What I think is interesting about Kamaro is that when you play the Song of Healing for him, like, the reason he's still around is because he has regrets for never being able to pass on his dance. He didn't get to pass on his dance, and he has regrets for it. You play the Song of Healing, and he leaves behind a part of himself. The part he leaves behind before moving on is the part that enables Link to just kind of do his dance. So, his spirit doesn't embody the mask, but one aspect, the aspect that was his lingering regret, his attachment to the world, which was his regret for not being able to pass on his dance. He left that to Link to accomplish that, and then he moved on. That's why I assume Kamaro's mask is only the only thing it lets you do is it lets you dance like Kamaro. It doesn't turn you into Kamaro. It simply lets you dance like him. Okay, I'm letting everybody die to Atate. What about the bomb mask? There's no answer to the bomb mask. There is no answer to the bomb mask. There is a mask that you put on your face and it blows up. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but that's what that one is. You got the Giant's mask. Within the mask lies the might of a giant, but you can use its power can you use its power anywhere? You can only effectively use the Giant's mask in the twin mold fight. So I don't know. Do you think the Giant's mask is related to the 4 giants? I would have to assume it is, right? Like, the Giant's mask has to be imbued with the power of the 4 giants to some capacity. And the only place you can use it is in the fight arena against Twin Mold, which is definitely not an area that's naturally occurring. But, who knows? The old Granny gives it to you. That's because she runs a bomb shop, so she handles explosives, and she trusts you with it. Saya, she's poisoned. There's also the All-Night Mask. That mask's lore, its very limited lore, says it prevents people from falling asleep, and it was used to torture people. Fucked up. It costs 500 rupees. And it just prevents you from falling asleep. That's all it does. And you use that, you get heart, you get pieces of heart from Gram Gram. Alright, Brave Bird's fine. Aya's a pain in the ass because she's wind flying, so her weaknesses are very limited. She crit me. Curiosity Shop guy has it. He gets it from Sakan. Because the only reason the All-Night Mask appears in, the All-Night Mask only appears in the Curiosity Shop if you prevent him from stealing from, the Bomb Shop Lady. Because if he steals from the Bomb Shop Lady, he sells bomb bags. So, he gets that, he's getting that item from Sakan. So Sakan had it for some reason. I don't know what he's got with it. I didn't matter what I clicked because I was gonna die to... He's gonna die to recoil. Tenma. I'm just gonna assume physical. I was wrong. Don't kill him. Doesn't matter if you kill him. I don't know if you can kill him. I know you can shoot him with an arrow. And if you do that, it doesn't count as stopping him from stealing. I really thought I lived that. I think I just lost. Sakan doesn't steal anything on night 2, does he? Oh, we're dead. Alright, that was, quite frankly, that was just extremely poorly played. I was barely paying attention. So, I think we'll probably lead with Satori to kill Aya. I don't know what happens if you shoot him with a bow and arrow. I just know that if you shoot him with a bow and arrow, it doesn't count as stopping him from stealing. I don't know why though. I never thought to do that because, well, usually I get the blast mask. It's one of the first masks that I ever get because it's right there. He steals the bomb bag from the old lady on night 1 and shows up at a secret scene at the curiosity shop on night 2 around midnight. Oh, does he? Well, I mean, the all-night mask doesn't go on sale until the final hours, right? Like, you can't buy the all-night mask until the fucking moon countdown is going. He has to go to sell for the cafe quest if he didn't get the bomb mask, so he wasn't the one that sold the all-night mask. Then where did the all-night mask come from? If you shoot him with a bow, he disappears forever. What do you mean he disappears? Like, does he just like fucking like snap? Like he's just gone? He blows up. Like, does he actually just die? It's kind of cool. He's in the valley on day 1 and 2, but if you shoot him, he's fully gone. So you can actually kill him. Really? You can, honest to God, kill him. How to kill Salkan. Okay, I'm watching. I'm watching. Alright, I'm dead. 40-second mark. Oh. Think it'll never happen to you. Well, now I learned my lesson. Oh, I think I know what happened. Oh. Oh, I know what happened. You hit the bomb. You hit the bomb. And he fucking blew up. Because her dialogue afterwards says that she, like, because you don't get the items back. He doesn't, like, she loses the items in the bag because she was carrying bombs. So you shoot a bow at him and you hit the bombs. That's why he explodes into a billion fucking pieces. Oh my god. No way. No way. That makes so much sense. You actually fucking kill him. In like a cartoon-ass way, he tried to steal bombs and then an entire pack of 30 bombs in his backpack. One gets ignited and blows up and he just becomes human shrapnel. Holy shit. I don't know what this thing just tried to do to me, but if I had to guess, it was click sing. Oh, that's good. That's good, because now you'll die to recoil. And, well, I guess I'll almost die. Alright, Kane. Now we're in a 1v1 here. It's okay. Tracing a useless ability. We'll go for the para. That's okay. I didn't even think of that, but yeah. Dude, that's actually fucking insane, though. That's legitimately insane. Like, I don't think anything in The Legend of Zelda is quite like that. But no, because when you hit him with your sword, you knock the bag out of his hand. Like, you slice him and he drops the bag. But when you hit him with a bow and arrow, you're piercing the bag and you're piercing the bomb, and the bomb explodes. Wow. There's the Zephyr badge. You did a good job in that fight. Good luck. The others are pretty strong. No free TM. They kept it in a 3DS remake. Well, it fits the scenario of the game, right? Majora's Mask is a very depressing game, and I mean, if you've ever really like seen how the NPCs react to the moon as well, like there's a lot of heavy shit in that game. It is. OOT as well, like the 64 games, they were rated E10 essentially, but there was definitely some T-rated themetry in there. Like the whole Shadow Temple itself, the existence of the Shadow Temple is like, old guy in your eyes to test me to let him in all day if you want to go the other way. Bro, what? Okay. Alright. I love the music that plays during the final hours though. I think the final hours music is really, really good. I also like that the Wind Waker like Hyrule Castle uses a similar motif to it, and you can hear it. Why is there a rock? I don't know who you are, but you're not allowed in here. Okay. Cause like you're in your final moments. When the moon is coming down, the music that plays, you're in your final moments. Oh no. Oh no. Yep. Okay. Srin. Let's go melee. Oh my. Oh. Kick the cat. Close. Koishi. I'll slap her. Hassan Chop. Oh, my finger slipped. My finger slipped. You know, I wasn't expecting to talk about Majora's Mask for like 35 minutes. Now, I'm not what you'd call like the biggest Legend of Zelda fan in the world, but I do find aspects fascinating. Enjoy these cold, dead ruins, brat. Okay. There are things that I find fascinating in the world, and I think about them sometimes when I'm bored, and the implications and possible meanings and connections and some other third thing, I'm sure. I need to go back and get Genji again. So, let me go do that. Doesn't that just mean it's a good story? Doesn't that mean it's a fascinating world when you really think about it? Yeah, I do. I mean, I like Touhou's world. Although sometimes the way it's done right makes me think that Touhou is just, like, fucking dumb. Like, not so much because characters do certain things, but just because the way he writes sometimes makes me think that he's, like, 3 steps ahead of fucking hippies. And I'm just like, what are you talking about, dude? But you gotta be a little bit strange to make interesting worlds. Yeah, you gotta be a little weird. That's all, it's a little weird. It pays. But there's just sometimes the way he explains and views things, it's so cryptic and stupid that you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? This place has a mystical quality. Cool. It's a big room, but there's nothing here. Great. Nothing. Ancient buildings are often tombs of kings, like the pyramids. The fuck is a pyramid? Ruins of Bad Apple. Makes Touhou fans go schizo. Oh, come on now. Half the Touhou fans don't even fucking care about what he's writing. They care about what they're writing. Let's have this character. We're gonna write this character. I'm coming down. We're heading to town. Are you strong? How much do you care about characters? I think it depends. This is gonna sound kind of bad, but I think it depends on when a character was written. Because usually what it is characters are around for so long that bits and pieces of personality formulate around them and they could become more than they're known for. And usually what happens is people that like the characters, based on certain parts they saw them at one point, will kind of solidify their own opinions on a character's personality based on what they want the character to be, with a pretty blatant disregard for what they actually are. But what happens is usually your personal perception of a character based on the aspects of the character that you like. You trick yourself into believing that this is the character and not just what you like to believe the character to be. People do that a lot. That's how you run into people who consider themselves the leading expert on characters. It's because they just convince themselves that they know everything of a character. Because their personal preference they have confused with actual indistinguishable canon. That's usually how that goes. It's great when Zun writes something and you're like, wow, that sucked. That sucks. This guy doesn't know his characters at all. What is he doing? I wouldn't write her like that. Me when I look at Lotus Eaters. Hee hee ha ha ha. Ho 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 ho. But no, that kind of brings me back to what I'm saying. Like, there are certain points in history where certain characters are written in certain ways, and those certain aspects of the, you know, the Shona personality or explanation, those aspects get highlighted in fanon, and that becomes more of a regularly accepted point, I suppose, for a character's perception. Some characters are more colorful than others. Some of them are pretty much locked in a... Some of them are locked in perpetual tropism. But honestly, I think that's just unavoidable for something like Touhou, because Touhou has so many characters, and while a number of them are pretty fleshed out and interesting, there are some characters who have never really been more than just the stage 1 boss. To be blunt about it. But even then, like, some characters, even when they do have defined aspects to their characterization, they are usually, they're kind of broken down into more of their tropes. They get broken down into tropes, but that's mainly because the nature of Touhou as a series is more of a lighthearted comedy, slice of life type of deal for most people. Touhou is a series like that, which is neat because as far as canon is kind of concerned, like, canon is not necessarily as funny, slice of lifey as a lot of fan works would lead you to believe. But I understand why the setting itself is so presentable in that format. Despite it there's a lot more going on under the hood, I suppose. And we've gotten to see that in different cases. But sometimes I think I just like when things are not very high stakes. Other character fans that are hostile. Honestly, Not that I can think of. And it's not like people were necessarily hostile to me. There was one guy who had a rude comment directed at me. But, no, medicine legitimately. I've seen at least 4 different comments regarding medicine that were just quite, like, vitriol towards people who, other people. And it was kind of impressive because it was medicine all 4 times. Like, all 4 times it was related to medicine. I found that really funny. But it was only her. The first one, I don't remember who fucking said them. But I just remember that we did a stream. We did a stream where people submitted who they were going to vote for the Touhou popularity polls. It was like 2 years ago or something. And some people wrote reasons for why they voted, and I read them. Wow, speak of the devil. And someone was like, they were voting high for medicine, and they listed the reasons why they liked medicine. And there was a comment on the VOD, it was like, yeah, this fucking guy has no idea what he's talking about. This guy calls himself a fucking medicine fan? Yeah, fucking right. Like, somebody was mad. Somebody was, legitimately upset at the reasons why this person was saying they liked medicine. It was kind of impressive because they were upset, but like they were upset at the person who said that medicine is one of their favorite characters. Like, wow. That comment might still exist. I wonder. Now I'm curious. I have no idea how to search. Can I search comments? Keywords. Oh, I can. Keywords. I don't know how to spell medicine. Alright, we're going all the way back. Oh, let me see. Let me see. I'm looking. 3 years ago. 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I'm looking. Shit, I might have reached the end. No. No, I'm playing the game. I'm playing the game. Yes. Oh, we're at the 5-year point, though. We're at the 5-year point. I can't find it. I can't find it. I can't find it. I failed. I failed. Kick the other frog. Akakapakawa. Abaukawa. Here's a comment. I found a comment. It's the same guy. But here's a paragraph. Here's a paragraph. Here is a paragraph written by a medicine fan. Here we go. This is like... Wait, this is from 10 months ago. Damn, that's not even that old. I thought that was older. It's a public comment, chat. The reason most fan games go for the same story for medicine is because their creators are not medicine fans. Her POFB arc literally says she's going to do other things now, but most people ignore it. Damn shame. She's one of the best written characters in the series, but Fanon is like, no, you're just a doll that whines a lot, and bam, that's the entire character. I've played those fan games before. The most recent fad that medicine has of family is also really annoying. She tends to get sidelined to better characters, in quotations, which is really lazy writing. For example, in Fantasy Maiden Wars, her arc is over as soon as it begins. And by the end of it, her character becomes just a naive girl that never understands what the adults are talking about. The visuals they made for her are great, but I feel like they should make much more, especially compared to what some throwaway characters got. The more I play PDP, the more I feel that game is overrated. I played it a lot, got all the puppets, but TBH, I had more fun playing Touhou ROM hacks than that game, and part of it is because of the writing. I always found Medicine's writing so bad and out of character, but all characters feel a bit corny. Mystia's Medicine is yet another example of character with no substance. To be fair, I lost where I was reading. Mystia is not my type of game. I played it once and got really bored. I only know how Medicine is like from your VODs. Which, to be honest, I only watched the one with Medicine. The man, I just feel bad. Medicine is nothing in that game. She doesn't interact with the world. She has no idea what things are. She is babysitted by a much more stupid character than her. Crazy, weirdo, pathetic loser. Felt so out of character, lol. Medicine in POFE is so sassy and funny, and she's none of that in Mystia's Izakaya. Shame. At this point, I'm just waiting for Zun to put Medicine in a new game print work so everything I think about the character is confirmed. I really like the crumbs of information we got this year from Whispered Oracle. Hakode Shrine from Medicine. It wasn't new info for little me, who reads every paragraph of Medicine info available, but it already does a great job communicating what Medicine is supposed to be. Still nothing on what Susan is, though. What I hate is the art she got from the fortune slip. It looks flat and dull, generic pose and emotion like the artist didn't care. It fucking sucks, actually, because I know someone else could have done way better and more interesting art. Crazy that it happened twice. At least the Strange Creators art looks cute despite being off-model as hell. Anyway, I think the Medicine community is pretty great. Even Zun knows Medicine is great, but said she's his favorite character from POFE, and I'm noticing a pattern in how he talks about Medicine. Call me crazy, but we might get more official Medicine related in the future, and I hope so, because most of Zun's faves are really boring and uninteresting characters. A lot of Zun's faves are really boring and uninteresting characters. That is so unbelievably correct. That is such a fucking correct statement. Oh my god. He's right! What is Zun's top 10? I need to know. I need answers. I need answers. Hmm. Kick. So here's an interesting comment. This is a comment in regards to something I said in a video about the comment that I'm talking about that brought this up upon us in the first place. All unpopular character fans are shaking in our boots, lol. I think fans of unpopular characters usually end up loud because they think people don't know their characters exist at all. So they try to be an advertisement campaign, hoping they will start to learn they exist and maybe possibly start liking them or just become interested. Join in, make more content, which hopefully more people see and learn they exist too. No. Absolutely not. No. I have an idea. I'm gonna make everything about this conversation the character that I like that I don't think a lot of other people like. This will make other people interested in my favorite character. Yes. Definitely. Nothing is more interesting than a character that somebody has to bring up in every discussion ever when we're not fucking talking about them. Oh, man. Oh, me, oh, my. Bamba. Bamba. Ba-dum. Ba-dum. Alright. I couldn't find what I was looking for. Public. Held. Held comments. Okay. Those are usually just dirty words. Those are usually just dirty words, but every now and again I check the held comment and I just see you are a massive piece of shit, kill yourself. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, but I've seen that. Usually, like, currently the comment that's being held is calling Kane's game a breast expansion fetish game, which isn't exactly incorrect, but like it's being held because it's using dirty words. But sometimes there's a comment in there that's just like, it's not even a comment so much as it's just saying mean things to me. If I ever wanted to talk about Touhou with somebody, it wouldn't be a Touhou fan. Even their beef. I mean, people just don't like you sometimes. And the more they see you, the more they dislike you. Even if you don't associate with them in any meaningful way. People just don't like you. It's just, some people, when they don't like you, they avoid you. And other people, when they don't like you, they don't leave you alone. I don't know why. I don't know why either, but this is just something that happens. People just aren't gonna like it. You can't control that, but it's just, so every now and again you get notified by people who don't like you because they make it their mission to inform you that they don't like you. I don't know, people didn't like me even before the shipping video, but I definitely got some comments on the shipping video that were like, brother, why? Normally, a part of it is, here's a part of it. Here's a part of it. A part of it is when somebody becomes, quote unquote, a representative of something that you like, but you don't like how they, you don't like how it is they are, like, you just don't like them. There's something about them that you don't really like, and they become synonymous with your interest. So now you always have to hear about their opinion on your interest whenever anything comes up, because people know them, but you don't give a shit about what they have to say. But now their opinion becomes some people's objective fact, and for some reason that becomes the person who had the opinion in the first place's fault. So it's like a triangle. It's like a triangle of Angor. Grr. I said this because this is my opinion, and then a completely unrelated conversation happens that I'm not a part of, and my opinion gets brought into it, and it's like, well, fuck that guy. Who the fuck is he? Who does he think he is? Well, like, I'm not even part of this conversation. Wait, is this... Oh, this is, This takes me back to Cherry Grove, doesn't it? Where the fuck are we? I heard there was some cool kind of fairy discovered in Unova. I'm practicing so I can go catch one. A fairy in Unova? So yeah, there's not much you can do about that. Like, just having an opinion, just having any form of opinion will put you under some hot water, of course, but the difference between my opinion and, like, your opinion is that more people are gonna hear my opinion, and that's gonna be irritating. If it's an opinion that you don't agree with, you're more likely to hear mine because I'm sitting here streaming and recording it, and that's usually what happens. Now, you could have an opinion that's significantly worse than mine that would piss somebody off, but they don't know who you are. Your words in a Twitch chat, as far as they're concerned. Me, I'm words on a video. There's a small difference. So, it's not so much the subject matter of the opinion, it's just it's the stage in which the opinion is set on and the pedestal the opinion ends up getting put on. And I don't have any control over that. I'm not allowed to have opinions. I'm not allowed to say things that I think. I'm not allowed to say things that I feel, because I have to take into account that I might hurt somebody's feelings. I don't do that, though. That's what happens. I'm not a role model, but there are, like, when you acquire an audience of any real kind, you become subjected to rules of, you become subjected to a subset of rules. And those rules are usually that, A, you have to behave yourself. You can't be a bad influence. You have to be a role model. You're not allowed to be negative. You're not allowed to be pessimistic. You're not allowed to be opinionated because your opinion might contrast with somebody else's, and that's bad. Because your opinion, you have to be more responsible with your words because more people listen to you. So usually what happens in, like, social media, for example, is that when you're big on social media and somebody who's small clowns on you, you're not allowed to clap back. Usually what happens is, you know, if you do something, you say something, and some 15 follower Andy starts talking some shit, and then you respond back because he was talking shit. And suddenly you're the bad guy. Like, oh, you can't talk to him like that. He's got like 10 followers. Like, bro, you're picking on the little guy. Bro, the little guy is coming to my house every day and throwing fucking stinky mushroom at my window. So I went outside and I fucking made him eat his stinky mushroom soup. And I'm the bad guy for this. That is what happens. That is what happens. People just kind of like, people start shit talking because they assume that you're not allowed to shit talk back. You're allowed to have your opinion. You can have your opinion, you can say your opinion, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's a free country, it's goddamn internet, it's fully anonymous. Go have fun. But, like, the idea that if you say something, if you insult somebody and then you think they're not allowed to insult me back, that more people will follow suit. Like, if they insult me, more people will insult me as well. They can't do that. That's not allowed. But you're allowed to insult them? Why? Why are you allowed to insult them? Because you're only one person and nobody will back you up? Unfortunately, the people you are insulting are human too. Just because somebody has 1 million followers doesn't mean they're not just a fucking person. They certainly build an ego. They certainly build a reputation, but they're still just a fucking person. Take away their 1 million followers and you go sit them down at a cafe. They're not any different from you or me. There's obviously perceived self-worth and confidence and all that shit, but... it just is what it is. It is what it is, and you can't control it. It's like when I have opinions. When I have opinions on characters. Unsurprisingly, when characters that I don't like certain characters. Other people don't like other characters either, but for me, if I say I don't like a character, it becomes significantly worse, I suppose. Like, wow, listen to this guy. Look at this guy's favorite characters. Look at this guy's not favorite characters. Great. Such a relaxing fishing spot. Why is this guy just here? Well, whatever. Whatever, I guess we're back here. Any form of negativity is immediately bashed, essentially. I'm not allowed to talk about things that I don't like on my stream because that kills the vibe. It kills the mood. Oh, it's so depressing. How can he have dislikes? Why doesn't he just smile and nod and talk positive all the goddamn time? I don't even talk that negatively. Bro, a fucking Lunarian shows up on stream and the chat starts getting antsy about it. I'm just fucking talking about acknowledging them. They're just a character. And somehow I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I said I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't. You know I don't. I don't bring it up every single time they appear on the screen. I don't have a fucking 5-hour power hour being like, oh man, fuck these characters, pieces of shit. No, I don't. I really don't. But for some reason, when a character shows up on stream that I don't like, somebody in the audience starts rolling their fucking eyes, and they're like, oh boy, here we go. He's about to drop on a tangent. Here comes the rant. There's no rant. There's no fucking rant. I can't even exist. I can't even say their name, dude. I have no agency. I'm forever marked. I said I don't like a character. I don't like a character. But now if that character shows up in any capacity on the stream at all, it is immediately viewed as negativity towards the character. I could never possibly say anything nice about the character that won't just be viewed as sarcastic because I said I don't like the character. Oh my god! Bro, waiting for the Touhou 20 Touhou reaction. And you got what it was! Do you remember what it was? I got to stage 5 boss and Touhou showed up and I said, Touhou, holy shit, you're in a game? That was my reaction. That was a perfectly fucking reasonable reaction. There was nothing negative about that. Not even slightly. I was like, wow, I can't believe Zun put one of these Lunarians that he mentioned before that he would never be able to put in a game because they're overpowered by design and they wouldn't fit the balance of the game. And he put it in a game and I was like, wow, I can't believe he did that. That was my reaction. That was a pretty fucking normal reaction. But exactly what you say. We were all waiting for the 20 Touhou reaction. Like, you were expecting me to fucking, what, would you think I was gonna turn the game off? You think I was gonna throw my controller at the floor? And I was gonna fucking piss myself in anger because Touhou was a boss in the game? Like, what were you expecting out of me? Was I supposed to make a show? Was I supposed to shit my pants and complain about it? Like, what do you want from me? I can't win, bro. I can't win. The only winning move is to never show any emotion. Like, wow, oh, it's Aiden. Whoa. Every time a character shows up, I'll just deadpan it. I will sacrifice individuality and preference so I don't make anybody upset. Because if I shit on your favorite character, well, I mean, I'm bullying. If I have a preference for characters and your character is not in my preference, I'm bullying you. I'm abusing my audience to bully your favorite character. Yep. 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 You know what's crazy? You know what's fucking crazy? Is I got exactly this shit years ago. I got this shit years ago from people who constantly insulted my favorite characters. And if I said anything lukewarm about a character they liked, they went straight to the Discord and started fucking gossiping about it. But no, my favorite character, you could say whatever the fuck you wanted about her. You could shit on her all over the place. I said anything even slightly slighting, and bam, I was the topic of gossip for 15 minutes on a channel. Unbelievable. Oh, what a life I've lived. My God. You have a Discord? No, I really don't. Die. Oh, my back. Stream where you trash talk every single Touhou character. I have probably said that every single character in the series at some point is a motherfucking piece of shit. Where am I? I'm lost! Route 49. Oh, I'm not lost anymore. Well, I am still pretty lost. I don't know where I'm going. I think every character in this, every character in the series I have said something negative about to some degree. Probably joking for most of them, admittedly. There's a pretty small margin of characters I actively dislike. I think Touhou characters are pretty good overall for that reason. Even Jun. Even Jun. Jun is a piece of shit. She takes your money and spends it on herself and leaves you broke, and then she leaves you. What the fuck? I can't believe that. I'm not surprised that people don't like Jun. I'm really not. I'm really not. The part I like about her the most is that she punches people, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but it's sometimes it's the simple pleasures in life. I like that despite her gaudy exterior, that she's not afraid to get down and dirty herself. Usually those types of characters are really annoying, but she's funny because she settles her own problems with her fists. She doesn't hire people to do things for her, she just goes and fucking does it herself, and that's awesome. Actually is a reason type. I'm staying. Not a good idea though. Every character sucks. Every character has a flaw, but when you like characters, character flaws are seen as endearing character traits. When you don't like a character, endearing character traits become obnoxious to you, so you highlight them as issues. Some people like overpowered characters, so they see overpowered characters as fine. Other people don't like overpowered characters, so they think any type of characterization towards an overpowered character is obnoxious because the main aspect of the character that they're overpowered is shining too highly. Reimu and Toyohime are both good examples of that. Well, Yorihime more specifically. Because Reimu and Yorihime are both very overpowered characters. But there's a difference in their vulnerabilities. Toyohime is full of herself, and her attitude as a Lunarian is very annoying. And she does have vulnerabilities, but they don't make up for the fact that she is what she is, in my opinion. Meanwhile, Reimu's the main character who cheats at everything, but she's also a greedy, opportunistic, and partially antisocial dumbass. And that's why I think she's funny, because she's very human, despite, you know, her being the overpowered main character. There's so many aspects of Reimu's character that I find enjoyable, that I don't really care that she's overpowered and always gonna win. Her attitude towards things, it's fine. But again, you could probably take what I just said and flip it and view it in the entire completely different way. You could be a Yorihime fan and hate Reimu. You could take the exact same points I just listed, but for you they're a positive into a negative. Like, that's just how that works. It's just about what aspects of the personality and characterization that you hold value in and what you find to be good. I don't think there are a lot of characters that are designed, like, inherently to be disliked. Unless they're obvious throwaway villain characters. But when you're designing a character, you're designing personality traits and tropes to them that are, in your mind, appealing. I would assume so anyway, right? Do you think anybody's ever designed a character full of tropes and traits that they themselves did not like? I feel like you wouldn't be able to do that because you would have a hard time putting your nose to the grindstone to produce efforts towards that character. Like, let's say for example, you only draw women, right? You only draw women. You're only interested in drawing women, but now you want to add a new woman to the lineup, right? So your favorite type of woman is girly girls. I'm talking flowy dresses, flowers, pink hair. Not pink hair. Like pink colors, flowy hair, like super soft, just like the embodiment of a beautiful lady. And you're like, all right, now I'm gonna draw a butch tomboy. Like, do you think somebody who has spent so much time drawing fluffy, pretty, flowery girls is just suddenly gonna be able to draw a macho woman? Like, that's not their preference. They have no preference towards that. Society of cosplayers. Yeah, you wanna give me something? Oh, my bag is full. Now, it is possible that it's not a matter of... Okay, well, we're a little stuck here. Where'd I get all this shit? Hold on. The maid uniform... Just give the lucky punch to Kenshi. I'm not going to use it anyway. My example is essentially just that when you have a preference, and people can see your preferences in your artwork as well. There are certain aspects of artwork that get highlighted. But if you completely 180'd your design, not because you wanted to, but I guess because like I don't even know if you call it a necessity to it, but I have to imagine you probably would be able to pull something like that off for an initial draft of a design, even if it would look kind of strange to completely design a 180 of a character like that. But would you be able to continue designing a character like that, making more aspects to said character, right? Would you be able to do that? Maybe if you found that you actually really enjoyed the process, then you would end up doing it. But I have to imagine that people tend to stick in their ballparks, relatively speaking, because that's what they want to draw. Why do you think there's so many artists who only draw women and they don't draw men as well? Like, some artists, it's one of those things that you see pretty commonly in character, like, commission sheets. Like, will not draw. And they'll put, like, the obvious stuff. And then they'll put mecha, because that shit is hard. And then they'll put men. Like, they will not draw men. Because men are difficult to draw. They're a different skill set that they didn't really learn because they didn't want to draw men. So they didn't bother learning. So they don't draw men. And if you told them draw men, they would probably not be able to draw a man. They don't want to draw a man. And if they had to draw a man, they probably could, but they probably wouldn't be that invested in it. And then it wouldn't be much more than like a one-time kind of thing. Men are easier to draw. Men are easier to draw because you're allowed to make them ugly. That is quite possibly the simplest explanation for that. When you draw women, they have to be attractive. Like, there's so many aspects to to women in design to make them attractive. For men, you can get away with a lot more loose shapes because, like, they don't have to be super attractive. They don't. You can get away with a lot of varying designs for men, but women not so much. Women have a lot more, not rules, but there's a lot less leniency and error. It's especially tough when you yourself are trying to capture the beauty of a woman on a canvas and you're failing to. Not that I would know, of course. Caves down here are really nice. Yeah. Like, I guess a simpler explanation. Women have curvature in their bodies, right? And we know that curvature in women's bodies is attractive. It activates our brains. And we know that certain parts of women being curvier in certain areas than others activates our brains. We know this, right? So we have these different shapes. We got like hourglass shape. We got like the pear shape. We have shapes that highlight and accentuate the aspects of the female body that we find attractive. There's a lot of different places you can do that for, of course. So we have to make these careful, inorganic shapes to really capture the contour of a woman and make it look really appealing. So what about a man? Well, a man, you can draw a box and you can call it the upper torso and nobody will question you. Like legitimately. The entirety of a man's body can be captured with a fucking rectangle. And then you're good. And you're good. That's it. That's all you need. You don't have to be curvature. You don't need anything. You can just have box body over here, and that's a dude. Tenshi. Ah! That's mostly what it boils down to. But unsurprisingly, despite women being much more difficult to draw well, there's a lot more people who want to draw women. And the thing about that I find funny is it's not even a gender-specific thing. People just like drawing beautiful women. It doesn't matter what your gender is. It's like everybody can acknowledge a pretty lady. It's funny that way. It's like, wow, look at this artist. They draw massive jugs. And look at the size of those thighs. And you look at the artist. Gender, female. That is a 26-year-old woman. She is drawing big booty bitches. Why? Because that's what she wants to do. Like, it doesn't matter. Gender, age, it doesn't matter. We all just want to draw beautiful women. I think for most people, that's kind of what gets them into drawing in the first place, is they just want to draw a pretty girl. That's when they finally design their original character. They're very boring. They're very basic, but they're just kind of they're just based on literally just based on their preferences as a person. Like, here's my OC. It's a girl with long blonde hair. Okay, that's it. Yep. There's nothing crazy or outlandish about the design. It's simply just aspects that they themselves like, and they're all put together to formulate a character that they made. And that's what's so beautiful about an OC. Some people take OCs and they go way too fucking crazy with them. They have to be so unbelievably unique that they're hardly recognizable as human. But I like OCs. I like OCs that are very, like, simple. They're straight up just like they're just a conglomeration of aspects. They're a conglomeration of aspects that the artist themselves like. Like, oh, this one has long straight hair. This artist likes long straight hair. They have big boobs. This artist likes big boobs. Like, they wear gray and blue as their main color scheme. This artist likes painting in these colors. Like, you can tell by the design choices on an original character what it is that somebody likes on character design. Because if they're drawing an OC and they want to do more things with their OC, they're going to have to draw them a lot. So they want to add aspects to their character that they themselves find appealing or interesting to draw, or to enjoy drawing in general. Some characters get so over the top in their designs that you probably get frustrated doing them all the time. So that's why I think simpler OCs are just better in general, because they better demonstrate what it is about the artist that they want to really convey. And that is that they're all perverts. They're all perverts with a certain level of freak they're willing to expose to a wide audience. That's all. It's all about how safe. It's all about how safe you play it. Yes. Excellent. Alright, we did it. 2 hours. Pretty good. It's a good stopping point right outside Union Cave. We're heading to Azalea. Azalea Town. Alright, chat. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Next time, more Johto. Oh, yes. There will always be more. Until there won't be. How about that?